Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to our lecture on Environmental Management System, or in short EMS. This is a topic that connects environmental responsibility with business strategy. So today we will explore what EMS is, why it's crucial, and how companies can implement it successfully. By the end, I hope you will appreciate how EMS can turn environmental challenges into opportunities for businesses. Okay, so let us start. Environmental Management System, or EMS, are framework companies use to manage their environmental impact systematically. There are key components consist of policies, development, planning, implementation, checking, and review, which these key components are the one that I'll be discussing in our next lecture. Alright, so this lecture is just on introductions of environmental management system. And also, you will see on the implementing EMS in a company is not as simple as a statement, our company comply to environmental management system alone. No, but it consists of various processes at different level of staffs in a company. And there are also challenges in implementing EMS. However, the benefits overall all. Think this way. A company might have many operations affecting the environment. For example, energy use, or they have so many waste. Okay, their wastewater is actually against emit a certain parameter higher than regulatory parameters. So what they need to do by the company implementing EMS, basically they have an act like green management plan to ensure these impacts are identified, controlled, and reduced. Right? So, my question to you now, why do you think businesses, big or small, should care about managing their environmental footprint? I'm asking you a question. So basically, why? Right, the next stage, let us see components of environmental management system. These are the key components that need to be contains if a company wanted to implement environmental management system in their company. First one is environmental policy. It is a promise to act responsibly. All right. Second one is planning. What consists in planning? Basically, the company need to identify risk, which is through their aspect and impact, and they have to set objectives and opportunity to counter what are their issues or their environmental risk. Implementation, normally company have to train their staff and find out for solutions. Monitoring and measurements is actually where they have to check results after they have done all the planning. And under environmental management review, all right, under management review, they will evaluate and adjust the approach. This is actually where all the findings that they have identified or they have get through their operations, they need to present in front of the management, and the management will decide, assess is the planning is appropriate, is effective, and where can we improve to make sure that all the strategy that has been done throughout the planning and implementation can be further improved to make sure they comply with their target policy. Okay, for example, IKEA has a policy to use 100% renewable energy in its store. So through careful planning and monitoring, they achieve over 90% of their goal. So this is a great improvement, but later on IKEA will find more activities under implementations to ensure that they can achieve their aim policy earlier on 100% renewable energy. Okay, so that is how EMS take place. Like any system, EMS has its challenges. Okay, for example, the first one is on resource allocation. Setting up an EMS requires significant time, financial, human resources to set up. All right, so basically, it is not that having a people you can actually implement EMS as it is. No. Okay, so these people need to be trained. All right, and also there are some changes in the operations that have to include financial budget. Okay, for example, you need to set up a certain treatment to add on the existing setup. So basically all these are falls under resource allocation, because to reduce the impact of environment in a company, you definitely has to have some allocated budget, some human expertise, some time that need to make sure the measurements or the monitoring being conducted. Second part is on employee training and engagement, right? Because everyone in the company needs to understand their role in making it works. All right, you cannot just inform your common driver, for example, to make sure they save environment. How? All right, so that is not as simple as it is, because you need to train. And system integration, all right, that's another that needs alignment with your EMS. All right, because the existing business operation takes effort. It is not that especially the 10-20 years company to start implementing EMS, they have their system as implemented commonly daily. But when they commit to do or implementing EMS in the company, so there are slight changes in the system to ensure their daily operations can basically reduce environmental impact. All right, so the difficulty in adopting new technology or new tools to be adopted in the existing system create these challenges. Regulatory complexity is another part. All right, is another part to make sure to for the company to comply. All right, because maybe all this while they are not really taking care on the environment, especially on environmental environment. But what happened is, when they commit that they want to comply with environmental management system, so they really have to watch out on any new regulations. They need to adhere to the regulatory, international or national. And for continuous improvement requirement, also a challenge, because maintaining consistency in monitoring and evaluation, yes, they can do it, but to further improve, as an example I mentioned just now on IKEA's promise, they wanted to get 100% of energy saving, but they managed to get 90%. It is a good achievement, but for continuous improvement, they need to find ways, okay, to make sure they able to achieve their own policy. So these challenges is actually uh, the things that each of the company need to tackle. Okay, I give you a simple example. For example, a logistic company, they mentioned that they want to go for environmental management system. However, they may or they might be struggling to train their drivers on fuel efficiency driving techniques. Okay, so if the employee does not realize how important they are in ensuring that their way of fuel efficient driving can help company to achieve their environmental target. So basically, this EMS cannot be completed. That's why everyone in the company have to understand their role. Okay, for this logistic company, once their employee, especially their driver, understand on how they can actually adhere to the procedure of fuel efficiency driving techniques, so by then slowly they can get a good results in their EMS. All right, despite the challenges, all right, so now let us see what are the benefits of EMS that make it worth of the efforts. The reward of EMS implementations go beyond compliance. All right, for the first one, definitely regulatory compliance. Companies have no more worries about being fined by the authorities. Okay, because basically when they have EMS implemented, they actually comply with the regulation almost automatically. Okay, that's the beauty. And the second one, which is the most I might say attractive to companies, is because by implementing EMS there are a lot of cost saving. Okay, they can lower their bills for energy, lower their bills for water, and they can have a good waste management as well. All right, enhanced reputation. Yeah, this is actually what they wanted. All right, because by declaring that they are EMS compliance or ISO 14001. Okay, I didn't highlight to you what is ISO 14001, but later on I will share with you how there are some linkages in between EMS and ISO 14001. All right, but when they are complied to EMS, basically the customer or the public can actually see this company is really showing a commitment towards environmental sustainability. So they win the public hearts. So basically, their business will rocket high. Okay, so risk management is another advantage or another benefits that can be bear by the companies implementing EMS, because they are always be ready for any unexpected environmental challenges. And the most important thing is on the employees engagement. Okay, because you basically involve your employee in meaningful environmental initiatives. So you give your employee the feel of belongings. Okay, for them they play their role to save the environment. So basically it improves their morale, it's improved the feelings of employee to work together with the company in reducing environmental impacts. So now my question to you, can't you think of a company whose environmental impact efforts inspire you? You've been living in Malaysia for quite some time already now. So maybe you are inspired in any of the company, regardless either this company are in Malaysia or in overseas. So you can share in my forum, which I'll open up also after this lecture. All right. Okay, let us see on EMS key objectives. Okay, what are their achieving sustainability through structured management? All right, on reducing environmental impact. These are key objective of EMS. You are able to reduce the environmental impact. Think about how less pollutions benefits everyone. Okay, even though your company are actually manufacturing aircon, but how your aircon company can reduce environmental impact to the public. Okay, just share some experience of mine. Okay, because I have been working in aircon company before. So our oblige is actually we wanted to use environmental friendly refrigerant, okay, because that is why we start moving our R&D department to search for environmental compliance refrigerant. Okay, so we are not using CFC anymore. So that is one, you reduce environmental impact. And comply with regulations, another key objective through EMS, right? You will ensure you adhere to all environmental laws and standards. Okay. um, Again, another example of mine, which I was working in National Panasonic or Matsushita. So this is actually multinational company. The mother company is in Japan. So what happened is we comply not only Malaysian regulation, but we also comply to the Japan or to the mother company regulations. You see? So what happened is, if there are any new regulations in Malaysia, inshallah the company will be able to comply because they go for the stricter environmental regulatory requirements. Okay, next on enhanced sustainability. All right, so through EMS, basically we promote sustainability practices within the organizations. And for improved operational efficiency, for example, you save resources and boost productivity. These are the things that basically what EMS want to achieve. Okay, so how can achieving this objective transform a business? My question to you. All right, so how basically this objective can transform a business, a company's operations, a company's aim? Okay, so you may start answering and you may start figuring out what are the answers for that. Okay, now I will introduce you ISO 14000 series, or for the environmental management system certification. Okay, so there are two things. Yeah, I need you to understand environmental management system. If you are if the company wanted to implement environmental management system in their company, they can go by itself without certification. But normally company, when they start implementing EMS, they wanted to be certified. All right, so the certification can be actually obtained by having this ISO 14001. All right, so ISO 14001, the most popular standards, help businesses managing their environmental impact effectively. It builds on a plan, do, check, and action cycle. For instances, a hotel chain, for example, hotel can use ISO 14001 to reduce water usage. They plan by setting targets. Okay, how many percent of water usage can be reduced, and then they check that is their target, and then they act by installing water saving equipment, for example. So plan, do. So do is through water saving equipment. Check, they will measure the usage of water saving. All right, and plan, do, check, action is actually by improving based on the feedback. Okay, so this is how the whole loop will be actually keep on improving. Okay, so you know what is ISO 14000 series as stated over here. Okay, key features of ISO 14001, that is the EMS standard, environmental management standard. And also why ISO 14000 matters, because it provides a structure framework for organization to integrate environmental considerations into their operation. Okay, this is very important, and the most important thing is it's recognized globally. It's not only in Malaysia, But when you are getting the ISO 14001 certifications, so your certificate is actually recognized if your product sold in Indonesia, in London, in other countries. All right, so these are the best thing when your company is certified with ISO 14001. So finally, let us look at how EMS and ISO 14000 work together. All right, first, it enhances credibility. Right, the customer trusts ISO certified companies. I think I have told you the story about the Japanese company earlier, which doesn't go for ISO 8000. So what happened, their businesses are a little bit down, because most of the European company go for ISO 14000. But when ISO 8000, sorry, so when the ISO 14000 released, so they immediately go for ISO 14001 certification, and this actually give or build up trust from the customer, regulator, and also community surrounding the company, that this company really take cares of our environment. So from there on, their business is going up, right? Global recognition, being seen as a leader in environmental efforts worldwide, improve efficiency, so for safe resources through standardization process, okay, encourage innovations in sustainable practices. This is where actually the improvement on operational efficiency then. All right, risk mitigation is another benefits, and finally on competitive advantage. Okay, so differentiate company to company. So one company A is ISO 14001 certified, while company B producing the same items or producing the same product, but they are not ISO 14000 certified. So what do you think? Which one do you choose? All right, if you are really concerned on environment, okay, so basically you will choose product from company that ISO 14001 certified. Right, so there is basically some ideas of environmental management system, and also ISO 14001 certification or certified. All right, so from this I end my first lecture on environmental management system. Later I'll continue in the next lecture for on how basically we are going to implement environmental management system in a company. By then, thank you.